I was like I was a teenager when it first came on. And so I was learning so much about what it meant to be an adult friend by watching you all. And I think I was more interested in that than the love stories per se.
Right.
But the love stories were there as well. I just told you about something about self-love and how you see yourself. But watching it now as a 40-year-old person, revisiting the episode, for a lot of us who are my age, we feel a little confronted by it now, Sex and the City, because we are now the ages that you guys were then at that time. And and we're seeing ourselves play out some of these storylines.
Right.
And that, I think, is saying that the show, you may point certain things out and say, oh, you can't make that joke now, but I do think the show is aging well.
Thank you.
Because the fact that I can see myself in it as I get older and understand things better.
Right.
It's work that I've gotten to grow up with and I still get to sit with now. But now it's not, a lot of us are saying it's not just fun on the background now. Now it's, okay, I'm in this stage right now.
Wow.
Or I'm going through a divorce, or I'm about to get married, or I'm about to have my first baby.
Right.
And so now it's as if you guys are still there. I think of art as an inheritance. And so we have inherited this work. And that's why I think within Just Like That is the continuation of the life of the work.
Yep.
And so when I go back and revisit and Just Like That, I will be, as I get older, I will then start to understand these stories even more.
I love
in
that.
due time.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's part of the reason I wanted to do the podcast is because I do feel also for myself.
Right.
You know,
you're there.
Right. I was there,
yes.
but also I was the age I was when we started, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm the age I am now, and I have such a different perspective. And as I was telling you when you sat down, I had never really rewatched. Because when they would come out in the beginning, we would be so excited to see them, you know, because obviously we were kind of doing this fresh, totally different thing. And, you know, we were always like a little scared also, you know, about whatever we had done. As you know, because you act as well, it's like scary to watch yourself.
You don't know how it's going to turn out.
No.
And you guys are taking a lot of risks.
A
in the
lot of
stories.
risks. I mean, and we still are. Like, wait till you see the first episode of it.
I could not wait. I'm ready, okay? I'm ready.
I know. I'm ready too. I'm ready too. But I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. But that's how we used to feel too. Like, you know, what do we say? What do we do? How's it going to seem? Are people going to be just, in the beginning, we thought people would just be outraged. You know, because there was nothing else like it.
Absolutely. I mean, well, I remember when it did come to E! And I remember, because obviously I watched it on HBO and loved it. I used to watch it with my mom, which is like crazy. You know, it means that there is a desire for it. There is something about these characters, something about dating, something about friendship, something about trying to balance career and family.
Right.
These are just universal things, you know, and look, you deal with the race element. Yeah, it's like for women, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's something very universal about it. Very universal. And that was cool about I mean, look, I mean, we live in a white-leaning society. We live in a patriarchal society. We live in a capitalist society. Those are just facts.
Right.
And when you accept that, there's a level of, okay, this is what's happening. But what I do think Just Like That does is where you guys have brought Black women to the table now. And so, but what you kind of find is that there's cultural differences, but not when it comes to love and balance and trying to raise kids and keep a husband and have a sense of self.
Right.
And so what that also reminds us is we have more in common than we think.
Absolutely.
And but what's interesting about these characters is a Black woman could say, I relate to Charlotte.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? A Black woman could say, I relate to Carrie. An Asian woman could say, I'm a Samantha and my crew.
Definitely.
Because it's really more about these character sort of types. And also, there are people that break down Sex and the City in much deeper ways than I do, but there are people that say they represent, they make up one woman.
I know. Sarah Jessica says this.
Yeah, I mean, okay, see, hello.
She explained Big in a super interesting way that I never thought about.
Of course, because she's so smart.
Right, and I was like, no, I'm trying to ask you about Carrie. Like, let's talk about Carrie. Why does Carrie want Mr. Big? Do you know what I mean? Because she said so many interesting things that I would never have thought of. And also, this is what I love about talking to people is that everyone has their own, first of all, experience. And second of all, thoughts and memories and, you know, knitting it all together is super fascinating.
Yeah.
But what the thing I took away from her thoughts about Carrie and Big was that in the initial pilot, do you remember, I really hated the pilot previous to rewatching it.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Pilots are hard. Pilots are
so hard. You've made so many.
Jeez.
I mean, have you ever heard my theory of pilots? My theory of pilots is this. A pilot needs to be like 75% good, but not 100% good. Because you have to have the elements there, But you don't want it to come together too good, because if it comes together too good, then when the show goes, it might.
That's kind of true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it needs to have something. It needs to be rough around the edges a little bit.
Right,
still.
but it's got to have that.
Oh, it has to have that thing.
energy,
Yes,
the thing
yes.
that's kind of intangible, but it not be all the way there.
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah,
And that's how
you
I
gotta
feel like
cook.
our pilot was.
Fair.
Thank you. But I think the one scene in our pilot, when I went back and watched it, it was way better than I remembered.
Okay.
Because I'm hard on myself and my memory, whatever.
Sure.
But you know the final scene where he drives her, they keep running into each other, and he drives her in that crazy old-fashioned town car.
Yes.
And she gets out, and she says to him, or whoever says, "Have you ever been in love?" And he says, "Absolutely." And the lights are all glistening in the background. She basically said that in that moment, the die was cast.
That's good.
Because when I was trying to get her to explain, why'd you put up with all the stuff, you carry,
yes,
her,
not
whatever.
Sarah,
yeah. She was just basically saying that the die was cast, and that it wasn't necessarily something that was thought out. It just happened.
Yeah, I get
Super
that.
interesting.
I think that's fair.
I get that too.
But also, I think because I hear what you're saying. It's an iconic last scene, and it's the beginning of this journey that we had no idea would last, like you said, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's also that Casablanca moment. It's that moment of us falling in love with them.
Yeah.
And this sort of like push and pull. And I think what you learn about TV couples is that they can never just be happy.
Right, because
otherwise you don't have a show.
Totally.
You know, that's why Big had to die.
Totally, I know.
Because they had the house, they had the thing, they figured it out, and now once you learn the lesson, you go.
That's right.
And so now it's a new lesson for her to learn.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The other thing I think about Carrie in terms of people criticizing her is that because she is the writer and because she is driving everything and you're hearing her thoughts, of course she's going to seem self-centered. You're hearing her thoughts.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
What I love about Sex and the City is they engage the audience because she's always asking a question.
That's true.
That's how every comedy begins.
I wonder.
Yeah. Or like, should you say that or should you this or
Right.
And it makes you question. She's wondering.
That's true.
And so now you're wondering, do I get over things quickly or do I wallow?
So true.
Like, which am I? Or like,
so true.
do I do this or do I that?
Definitely.
And I think, so now what I love, why I feel like we love Carrie, and she very much is sort of, I think, a Mary Richards for her time.
Yes.
Is that we now are on this ride with her.
Right.
Now we're dating with her. That's what we're saying. Like, it should be big. It should be Miss Aiden. Da-da-da-da.
Right.
And my old lesbian ass is sitting there thinking, like, who do I want to be? Am I Mr. Big or am I Aiden? And I always wanted to be
Who
an
did you want to
Aiden.
be?
I want to be
you
Aiden.
Want to be, yeah.
I want to be the one that's like making furniture, breaking down the
warm.
wall. But the sucky thing is that a lot of us feel like if you're an Aiden type, you're probably going to get cheated on.
Oh, no.
By Big. But then I also have Mr. Big qualities about myself. I think some people they say, like, okay, I know there's a little bit of a suave energy.
I think you
I don't know, but it's like I'm looking at both of them. It's like, okay.
Totally.
They represent different things.
Definitely they represent different things. Okay, let's talk about the breakup rules for a second, because when you're talking about the question, that's her question of this episode.
Yeah.
So this is also so funny to me. So in my mind, the pilot was really bad and really dark, right? Which it is really dark.
It is dark.
But now I look back on it and I love that it's so dark.
Yeah, it's new.
It's cool. It's different. I mean, you can barely see us sometimes.
I know.
You're like, where are we?
I know, but then it gets super light.
I know, it really does.
Then it's
it really
like
does. As we
lights
get
flashing.
more money.
Right. Okay, the clothes get a little fancier and like.
Most definitely. Sarah Jessica told me we had $10,000 for costumes the first season. Can you believe that?
That didn't even cover the shoe budget the second season.
I know.
Wow.
But that was when we had to get people to lend us stuff.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, that's the only way we did it in the beginning. So anyway, here we are. This is the second season. And in my mind, I also love season 3, as we briefly discussed.
I really like season 3 in terms of where everything's just sort of gelling. But season
my
2,
God,
but
magical.
season 2, but I like season 2, the season 2 opener, because what's interesting about it is there's an energy of you guys feel a little confident.
Yes.
There's a confidence in all of you.
Definitely.
I think because you guys we're here for a second season.
Do you feel that way when you're doing a show?
Yeah, I think the actors, because sometimes, if I'm the creator, I'm on the opposite side of it, the actors feel a little bit more settled. Because in the first season, you're just trying, okay, hopefully we get picked up.
Yeah.
If you get picked up for a second season, it means, all right, what we did last time didn't work. It worked. Okay, so we're not too bad. And then now you're like, okay, now we're on these journeys, and who are these people?
Definitely.
Who are these characters?
Definitely, I feel that way.
They're like, you guys are like, it's great. It's
right,
beautiful.
and we have the coffee shop set.
Yes.
So we actually, because like first season, you're like, where are they? And like we're in weird places on Long Island City.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we finally got the coffee shop set, which is great.
Yes.
And we have a scene that is a coffee shop scene, which is the one where Miranda, gets
sick
up
of talking about
and
men.
literally says, "Don't talk about men." And Michael Patrick wrote this episode, and I think that he was actually using criticism of the show.
Yes, all you guys do is sit around and talk about men. Yeah, I could feel that.
Right.
And yes, and I've been, I've done that too. Where you write in, kind of what
I
people
like
are
that.
saying.
I like that when writers
it's
do
like
it.
a run toward it, address
Totally,
address
right?
it.
Run toward it, definitely. I have the sweater that Cynthia's wearing in that scene in my house, and I wear it. I know. Sometimes I would take Miranda clothes home because you can wear them in normal life.
Oh my
you know
gosh,
I mean?
right? I know Miranda's like the real girl. She's like, look,
totally,
I got to be a real
relatively
person.
normal
Yes.
as we go. Anyway, so this is the whole. We go out to the baseball. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the big question, which I love because it does come up from Charlotte, where Charlotte says that to get over a breakup, it takes half the time of the relationship.
Yes.
What do you think?
I've always heard that, and I always loved that theory. Yeah.
Cool.
Here's the deal. I love that they're so like classic about it with you. Like you take like they gave the number of how long you were with the guy and how long it took to get over. But I mean, if you set an intention for yourself where you're like, okay, I dated for somebody 3 years, all right, year and a half is what I'm gonna give myself.
That's nice,
that's
yeah.
all I'm gonna give myself.
That's good.
But some, you could date somebody for like 6 months and it could be super intense.
Good point.
And you might need a little bit longer.
That's a good point.
So it just all depends because some people can linger with you.
Yeah.
It just depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people are easier to get over than others.
I think that's so true.
Yes,
I'm not
case by
gonna say
case.
more, but I think it's so true.
I won't say more either. We'll both keep that. Yeah.
We'll keep that.